Ready? I'd like to call the December meeting of the Historic Preservation Commission to order. I'm going to go over the procedures for the meeting, which is on the back of the cover sheet of your agenda. First, the chairman will announce each case and ask any party having interest in the case to indicate their presence by raising their hand. Commissioners will then discuss the details of the case, calling on staff to provide details of the proposals. Following discussions, commissioners may choose to ask questions of the applicant, the staff, and any other interested party. Interested persons may speak to support or protest the application. The applicant will be entitled to one brief rebuttal. Interaction between applicant and protestants on the floor is not permitted. Persons speaking are asked to approach the center podium one at a time to introduce themselves by name and address and to present their position as succinctly as possible. And if you would sign in, please. The Commission asks each speaker to ask his or her remarks to limit his or her remarks to no more than 5 minutes. Following the public hearing on an application, the Commission will take one of the following actions. 1, approve the certificate of appropriateness. 2, continue the proposal. 3, deny the proposal with prejudice, which means the application may not be resubmitted for at least 1 year unless the Commission determines the circumstances have changed. Or 4, deny the proposal without prejudice, which means the applicant may reapply at any time. When an application has been approved and after a 10-day protest period has expired, the Historic Preservation Officer will mail the CA to the applicant. And city construction permits cannot be issued until the CA has been issued. And finally, any person aggrieved by decision granting or denying a CA may appeal to the Oakland City Board of Adjustment. All appeals should be made within 10 days of the Commission decision. Okay, and Paul, I forgot to ask for the roll call.
Alan Brown.
Present.
Jennifer Bourne. Heather Clemmer. Neela Crank-Clements. Greg Eddington.
Present.
George Massey. Mary Jo Meacham.
Present.
Jeffrey Parks.
Present.
And Ann Zacharitz.
Present.
And you have a quorum.
Okay. So let's go to item 2 from the Office of the Historic Preservation Officer. Katie?
We have a workshop for all design review commissions and committees coming up next Friday, December 11th. That'll be at the Cox Convention Center, and I think you've been receiving information from Paula about that. And then on, that's just reporting belatedly about our workshop that was held and the workshop that was canceled, that was on our regular workshop calendar. We have our, under items for other business, we have the new calendars for the next year that the Commission needs to approve. And in order to make sure we have a quorum to do that, staff requests that we move those up to this point on the agenda and get a quick vote on that.
Which items are those?
It is items 7A and 7B.
Okay. Is there a motion to do that?
So moved.
Second.
Second? Okay. Moved by Jeff Parks and second by Ann Zacharitz. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, let's continue then with 7. Other business. Oh, okay, we just moved it up, and now we have just need a motion to approve the schedule of meetings, okay? Is there a motion?
I move to approve we need to vote on them separately, is that right? Need to move to approve the 2016 meeting schedule,
A regular meeting.
the regular meeting schedule for the Historic Preservation Commission.
Right. Just reading what it says.
Okay.
Second.
Moved by Jeff Parks, second by Ann Zacharitz. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that schedule is approved. Keep going.
I move to approve, I want to make sure I read it correctly, 2016 schedule of workshop meetings.
Second.
Then moved by Jeff Parks and seconded by Ann Zacharitz. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, our workshop schedule is approved. Now we continue to acceptance of the minutes of the previous meeting. Item 3. Any comments on the minutes or a motion?
Move to accept the October minutes.
Second.
Moved by Ann Zacharitz. Moved by Jeff Parks, seconded by Joe Meacham. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, accepted. Threw me off there. You had a thing going over here. So. Okay, item 4, code enforcement report. Greg?
Good afternoon. Any questions?
I have a question about one, and I'm sorry, I don't know if it's on the report or not. It's 716 Northwest 39th Street. The railing above the front porch was removed and not replaced. Do you know about that?
Yep. Nobody wanted to call me back or return my phone call, so I wrote them a ticket. They'll tell the judge why they did it.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay, any more comments or questions for Greg? Okay,
Great.
thanks, sir. On to continuance, announcements, and requests.
We just have two requests already listed and no new requests that have come in. So we need to vote on each of those separately, and I believe both of those are to be continued to the January 6th meeting.
I move to continue, I move to continue HPCA 15-00090 to the January 6th meeting.
Second.
Been moved by Joe Meacham and seconded by Jeff Parks. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that is continued.
I move to continue HPCA 15-00125 to the January 6th meeting.
Second.
Been moved by Joe Meacham and seconded by Jeff Parks. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? That item is continued. Now on to public hearings. Six.
No dilapidated structures and no National Register nominations this month.
Okay.
Many items on the consent docket.
All right. So anybody like to remove something from consent docket, or is there a motion for approval?
I make a motion to approve the consent doc cases. Okay. As recommended in the staff report.
Second.
Been moved by Joe Meacham and seconded by Jeff Parks. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, consent docket is approved. Making progress, a long one. On to D, cases for individual consideration. Okay.
If you were on the consent docket, you are approved and you can go. So feel free to make your way out or stay and observe if you're interested.
Thanks for coming.
Yes, thank you very much for coming, everyone, and thank you for your patience. D1, HPCA 15-00086 at 2604 North Chartel, Paseo Ward 2, consideration and possible action on application of Mike Asef Living Trust for certificate of appropriateness to 1, replace driveway required, and 2, install parking lot required. This is work that has already been initiated, but they are now applying for a CA. Staff's recommendation was a continuance because we're requesting additional documentation of the proposed work.
Okay, is the applicant present? Okay, not present.
And has any additional documentation been received?
No, we haven't received anything since the staff report went out.
Okay. Till when should we continue?
January 6th.
Okay.
Move to continue HPCA 15-00086 to the January 6th meeting.
Second.
Been moved by Jeff Parks, seconded by Ann Zacharitz. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that item is continued. And next? Item
HPCA 15-00095 at 714 Northwest 18th Street, Mesta Park, Ward 6. Consideration and possible action on application of Jared D. Smith, LLC, for certificate of appropriateness to 5, replace driveway elective, 6, replace piers at front steps elective, and 7, remove retaining walls and regrade front yard required.
Okay, is the applicant present? No?
This property, this applicant has been seen by the commission twice now. A couple of these are new items from what you've seen previously. Staff recommended approval for the driveway with conditions that some additional information be submitted. Staff recommended approval of the piers at the front steps. The recommendation says with conditions. We actually did receive the requested documentation between the time the staff report went out and now, so those conditions could go away, and recommended continuance for the retaining walls and front yard.
Okay.
Do you think that he thought he was going to be later on the agenda?
What's that?
He's always come to meetings. I'm wondering if he thought that maybe after he looked at the agenda that maybe he wouldn't be at the very beginning.
Because of the length
Because
of
of the
Of
length.
the length of the agenda, that maybe he
he's
thought
on.
he could come later.
Yes.
Have you heard anything from him?
Have you reviewed the continuance?
I mean, if people are comfortable with the staff recommendation to approve, we can do that without.
I'm comfortable approving the ones recommended by staff.
And is he okay with, the condition on the one seemed fairly minor, just illustrating some things. Do you know if he was okay with that? Yes, the staff report, item number 1, replace the driveway, had a condition that the finish and slope of the proposed driveway must be fully illustrated. And typically,
nothing
we wouldn't
further.
approve something without acknowledging that from the person that they're okay with that condition.
I've heard nothing further from the applicant since the issuance of the staff report.
So what, on that
we
one,
don't know.
we can administratively approve driveways, and I think because he already had a lot of work coming to the commission, and because we were still missing information, we included it for your review, but we could just continue that with the additional request for, is he out of continuances? No, okay. So we could continue that item.
We could
and potentially
continue.
administratively approve it.
We could continue.
That would be item
That is item 5.
5.
So there's only one item left then, the piers. The other two would be continued, right?
Item,
Item 5 would, right.
Yeah, item 6 is the piers. Those short walls, actually.
I make a motion to, let's see, for HPC, I even wrote it down today. I'm sorry. I make a motion to approve item 6 for HPCA 15-00095. I think that's, no, I'm sorry, item 6. I can't even get it right. To approve item 6.
With a specific finding?
Oh,
As in the staff report.
I'm trying, guys. To approve a staff, as stated in the staff report.
That's easy.
Second.
Okay, moved by Joe Meacham, seconded by Jeff Parks. All in favor?
Aye.
Right there.
Opposed? Okay, item 6 is approved.
See, I make a motion to continue, correct? To continue items 5 and 7 of HPCA 15-00095 to the January 6th meeting.
Second.
Moved by Joe Meacham, seconded by Jeff Parks. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, they are continued. On to D3.
HPCA 15-00110 at 2137 Northwest 27th Street, Shepherd, Ward 2. Consideration and possible action on application of Kenneth Johnson for certificate of appropriateness to 1, replace wood veneer on garage door required, 2, replace garage entry door required, and 3, re-pour driveway required. This one may seem a little odd to the commission because you have 2 separate applications for the same house in your packet, one that comes later on the agenda. This is the previous owner, and now that the house is sold, that owner is working towards compliance on the citation that was issued to the previous owner. So our recommendation with this one was to deny these items, and then we'll kind of pick up where we left off with the new owner on a new application.
So I don't suppose the applicant's present? So,
I would not
just to
imagine.
make sure.
Yeah.
As he has sold the property. All right. Any discussion? Is there a motion?
I move to deny with prejudice HPCA 15-00110 with the specific findings as stated in the staff report.
Second.
Moved by Jeff Park, second by Ann Zakowicz. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The item is denied with prejudice. Item D4.
HPCA 15-00129 at 225 Northwest 24th Street, Jefferson Park, Ward 2. Consideration and possible action on application of Falcon Realty LLC by Adam Rayan for a certificate of appropriateness to 1, install TPO at primary structure and overlap the parapet edge required, 2, replace metal roof at accessory structure required, 3, paint wood trim required, and 4, paint slope assist at accessory structure roof required. The Commission saw this application in October and asked the applicant to come back with additional information. This is just discussed in the staff report, but wanted to make clear that you generally do not need a CA to paint wood trim, but it was included in the, I think, in the notice of violation, and the applicant just asked that we very specifically kind of state that he doesn't need a CA for the painting of the wood. So that's why it's listed at all.
Okay, so you must be the applicant.
Yes.
Okay. Welcome.
Good evening. First, for the primary building, I have the contractor who did the job, so if there is anything wrong.
Okay, could you also sign in,
Yes.
Mr. Rayan? Correct? Any comments or questions? Always.
So did we talk about, there are two different items that we're really talking about today. Should we tackle one of them first? Maybe hit the secondary structure first? Not hit it literally, but discuss it. So in the secondary structure, staff had recommended approval to replace the roof on the secondary structure
With the metal roof.
with the metal roof.
Did the applicant have any photos of what it looked like before
For the
you
secondary
put the roof
building?
on?
No, I don't have any. But
Could you go to the photo where you can
the
see it?
issue that I am proposing, what is seen from the street right now, only this little corrugation that is barely seen. This is in a parking space, not on the main street. So I'm proposing if I go just put a metal flashing like 4 or 5 inches, it will cover, it will never be recognizable that it is, you will never see anything about the roof in the back building, in the rear building.
I'm sorry, are you talking about adding some flashing to this?
Metal, because actually...
Or it's done?
No, the rear, yes, this. What you could see when you get to the parking spot, not the street, these little corrugations, but I could hide these corrugations by putting 5 or 4 inches metal flashing that it will hide everything and you will never be able to recognize if there is anything wrong with this roof. Yeah. This roof been replaced. The last visit I got a sample of the old roof. The issue that the one who complained about this, he moved in while we already removed the old one. So he came at the time that there were nothing there. Then when we put the new one, okay, he found something is not appealing to him. But if he had seen the former one, definitely he should have thanked both of us, the city and the owners, about this kind of improvement. What I could see now, this kind of corrugations, yes, it is barely visible, but I could even put this kind of metal flashing at the back, and I will bring pictures, and if you don't like it, we could go from there. But I do believe, actually, I even discussed with Ms. Angela, that if you could put gutters to hide it, but the gutter man said, no, it can't be there because there is like a kind of mold under to support those kind of metal sheets because when the wind is heavy, it will fly. So the best recommendation is just go and put this kind of flashing. It will look.
Are you wanting to put the flashing, or are you saying that it would solve another problem?
No. If this is my proposal to put the flashing, the metal angle flashing, so it is, you will never see this kind of corrugations or anything wrong that it might hurt the eyes for the historical look of the whole thing.
I think we'd have to have a drawing. I think we would have to have an illustration so that we would understand exactly what you're proposing.
Just for this line.
I understand, but
Yeah.
I still think that we would have to have a drawing unless Angela has one. What? For the before, right. Do you understand what he's proposing, Katie?
Yes, I think so. Just that flashing would come out and down over the edge so that you wouldn't see the corrugated metal. So that it would just look smooth at the edge instead of being able to see the little ridge that you see there at the top.
I don't see how that, I mean, you couldn't put it on top of the roof and come.
Well, and that's, I think as staff has talked with the applicant, we felt like that the corrugated metal as it is fairly minimally visible, and that adding the flashing might do more harm than good.
I'm in agreement.
Both
there.
visually and potentially one more one more source of damage.
I agree. If it's weather tight right now, I don't know but anyway, if it's weather tight, I wouldn't add anything to it. I would like to look at the back portion.
Excuse me?
The front where it comes up above the tile.
Or the front of the front building? Or the rear building? Which one we talking
This
about?
one.
Okay.
So, is there a structure under the new metal that was already like that, raised up above the tile?
Everything was there except this black paint being yellow. You could see, even if you come closer to this kind of wood, you will find it very old, cracked. Sorry for that, might be like rotten wood. What we did, we just painted. The original color is over there at the back, at the side of the rear, which is the yellow. So what was there exactly? That was yellow, and then the old metal roof. We changed it. By the way, this paint, it has been there for 8 years. This black paint, it has been there for 8 years. We got a notice from the city like 4 or 5 years ago about this kind of graffiti at the side of the rear building, while the black paint was there, and we didn't get any comment about this kind of black paint. So it was old actually, but what we changed it, just the metal roof, and we painted this in black. If you want me to get it back to yellow, not a problem, we could do it.
I guess my concern is if you would have come in prior to doing this, I think we would have suggested no, not to do this. That's kind of my feeling.
In other words, the big kind of hovering thing over the front of the building, it was there, but when he replaced the roof, that should have gone, that non-historic material should have gone away. Is that what you're thinking?
I mean, yes. I would say generally, when we take off, no matter what it is, if it's historic or not, when we take something off, I mean, in this case, like non-historic, when we take a large piece of non-historic material off, then usually we require that you go back to the original look, that you would fix the flat roof, that you wouldn't have been allowed to just take off put it back on. I'm not really sure whatever they did so that it would have a slope, or I'm not.
Are you talking about the black paint or the metal roof?
The roof structure that sticks up over
Oh, yeah.
the
There is not that much support.
There's what?
there is not that much support at the original roof to put any kind of other roof. You have to build everything from the scratches, the rafters, this kind of wood panels and everything to install something. So actually, the easiest way, that's why they did it that way.
Right.
You know, just to put, it has a good torque, it stands by itself, you don't need to put anything underneath. But for the black paint, like I'm telling you, we didn't even remove it or we didn't do anything with it, just paint. And under this kind of thing, there are many missing and broken and damaged veneer brick underneath. So it even hides. But like I'm telling you, if you'd like to get it back as it used to be in yellow, we could do it.
I don't think we're discussing the paint. I guess, let's just make sure what we can see from the street.
Yeah, so your concern is that once they started working on the roof, that whole structure should have gone away. You know, I'm trying to think of something comparable. I mean, when we review a roof replacement, if someone has a roof over an inappropriate addition, we don't make them take off the addition.
No.
But, so I don't know where we would draw that threshold with saying your actual roof structure is incorrect, and rather than just put on a new roofing material, you have to rebuild the structure.
So what is that thing? It's not part of the roof, right?
It is part of, it's something that was built quite a long time ago to solve the flat roof problem.
Yeah, to give more of a slope so that the water would...
It's a second roof above the original roof that slopes. The original roof was a low, essentially flat, probably,
Right.
roof, right? And that structure is still in place for the original roof?
Excuse me?
The structure for the original roof is still in place, did you say?
He says no.
Tell you the truth,
No,
I don't know about what's underneath exactly.
Oh, okay.
The whole thing is very old. We try just to beautify the thing and to make it a little bit
When you're,
functional.
Yeah.
when you're inside, though, you see the original ceiling.
Yeah, it leaks. And
You see the original ceiling from the inside.
The
Yeah,
joists and everything,
yeah, it is in a very bad shape. It used to be, but like I'm telling you, we're trying to beautify the thing, not more, but not changing.
I kind of agree, with Katie, it could be hard to, but we would have suggested it for sure, but
Then,
hard to require it for a new roof material. So the question is are you questioning the metal too, or just the?
I just wanted
Built
to
up.
get to the end of it. I mean, I'm comfortable if staff feels like that's, you know,
Minimally
within the
visible.
guidelines. It's not, I'm not really sure if that's what we would have recommended if we would have seen it prior to. But I think
Yep.
it's, maybe, I understand this direction.
Well, staff's recommend it's because it's
That we
removed
approve.
because it's only minimally visible from the street. And
Okay.
taking it off would be more damage
Okay.
than good.
Is your contractor the roofer?
Yes.
Hi,
Hello.
my name is Tony Gore. I'm with Ground Zero Roofing.
Okay. Do you have a question for him?
Tony, do you have any other comments on that? Was there,
I am a certified applicator, been certified for about 25 years through Mulehide Products, and that is a standard procedure to turn the termination bar over the side of that building.
well, we're still talking about the brown one, the other one, I'm sorry. The secondary, this one.
I'm in no part of that. I haven't done nothing.
Oh, okay, you
Okay,
did not do that
the other
part.
roofs,
Right.
you did.
Oh, okay, okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
So is there a motion for that or more discussion? You want to take them separately, right? Yes.
I mean, I'll make a motion to approve HPCA 1500129, item 2, as stated in the staff report.
Second.
Okay, been moved by Joe Meacham, second by Jeff Parks. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, item 2 is approved. On to item 1.
This does look like, right now is a little bit different.
Could we talk to the
To
roofer?
the
Roofing company
primary
contact?
building,
Could we go back to that
we did a
photograph showing the
change.
parapet? There it is, yeah. Yes.
Tony, I think these questions might be for you. Come on up.
Staff's recommending continue.
I th-
Well, you said items 1 and 2, but you really meant, I guess, 1.
It's just item 1.
One.
Yeah.
I would like to just have an explanation of I think what you were going to give us about how you went about putting the roof on the building.
Like I said, I'm a certified applicator for Mule Hide Products, and it's a standard procedure to terminate around the sides of any structure building. That's to give it a certified warranty of a 10-year warranty. They are another option. It could have been done with a cap metal, which the mortar and the rock that's a historic building. It was pretty old, pretty crumbly. So that was a better option to wrap that particular wall and terminate it.
I've never seen this application done on I've never, I mean, I personally, I've just never noticed this being done. I think in this-
Actually, it's all over Oklahoma City
Right.
if you...
I don't remember
I've
something
seen
like
it.
this
It's a-
coming through our
That's
commission.
a pretty standard procedure.
What?
Yeah, I don't remember seeing an installation like this coming through our commission where they've done it like this in an historic district, though.
No?
And
I-
we typically don't review replacement of flat roofs.
Right.
So there may be flat roofs that have been replaced in this fashion that didn't come forward for a CA because they understood or were even told that no CA was required.
Yeah.
That would have been based on the assumption that none of it would be visible up and above the parapet. So staff has definitely been made aware of a need to push for some more information, I think, when we get those kinds of calls. But
I
Sure.
mean, there's many buildings downtown that I think we're all familiar with. I just don't, this does not look familiar to me.
Well, and I think it makes a substantial change to a pretty historically significant piece of the building as well.
You're really talking about the part that comes over the top and is visible from the, not necessarily the back of the parapet. Right.
I mean, in this instance, it's actually covered the historic material, which is the concrete cap at the top. And I think the other thing that I would be concerned about is how it's attached to the historic material, and if those attachments are going to continue to deteriorate that situation, rather than,
Actually, the outside of the structure of that wall was a lot stronger than the top of that wall. That's the reason why it was attached that way. We pre-drilled the hose and used concrete fasteners to stabilize the termination bar around the perimeter of the building.
It kind of makes it sound like that you put it on there so that you could hold the building together or hold the caps down or something.
There's actually one in every 6 inches all the way around the perimeter of the building.
And that picture right there, is that, it's a termination bar you're showing?
Yes.
And that's cast stone. What is the black? Is that some sort of adhesive, or, do you know, is it tar?
That's actually brick, and it's covered with, it's got a tar on top of the brick.
Was that applied by your company?
No.
Previously? The old roof, probably. Tar.
Just
probably.
old?
Yeah, that's the structure that was there before. But like I said, the roof was done the certified way. I am a certified applicator for 25 years, and that's a procedure you take in GAF materials, mule hide, any type products.
Would there be, within, it sounds like that you've done a lot of projects. Is there another way that you could do this particular project without wrapping the material on the top and around the front of the building?
Not in this building's situation. The brick was too bad. The mortar was. It was too old. And I felt like it was better to wrap it than try to put a cap metal and pre-drill the top of it and then have trouble with the cap metal later blowing off because the concrete was not strong enough.
So are you saying that the brick needed to be repaired before you did that other application?
Well, it was weak. I'm not a bricklayer repairer. I'm the roofer, and I do what's the best interest to make sure that roof don't leak.
So if the brick had been adequate.
Well, some of the brick was cracked, yes, and I felt like it was
If
inadequate.
it had been adequate, you could have terminated it on the inside of that parapet wall?
I have never terminated on the inside of any terminated wall. Actually, I did a couple buildings right down the street from this one, identical to this, terminated over the sides, and they've come out and inspected, and I never had a problem with it. They had them repainted, and everything was okay.
You're saying
Actually,
who,
about
the
4 blocks
city?
from there, a building identical to that.
I've never
Are
seen it.
you saying the code enforcement, are you saying the building inspector, or
Yeah, the building inspector came out and
was
inspected it.
it in a historic building?
Yes, it is.
Did you get a permit?
They had them paint around the perimeter of the building, and they okayed everything.
Well, staff's recommend we continue to get more information, maybe investigate.
I don't know what, I don't think that I don't think I could approve that. It just does not fit within the guidelines as stated by staff. I don't know what else they could do.
Sure. And, I mean, the answer may be that it's not the right type of roof for a flat-roofed historic building if you've got to cover up the historic cast stone
Right.
parapet to make it
It
actually work.
is not. I mean, this method is not appropriate for this
Actually,
building.
it is the best type of roof
It
for
may be.
any historic building.
It may be for your purposes, but for purposes of the HP guidelines, it's not.
Does not follow our guidelines because for the reasons stated by staff. There's a visible change. We feel like that, pulling it over like that is detrimental to the historic fabric.
Right. Well, I understand your opinion. Like I said, I'm a certified applicator, and that's the way we install roofs. I don't do it any other way. That's our manufacturer. That's how they teach us to do it.
Right.
We appreciate your knowledge there. Is there a motion to continue or something? Do you want to do that?
I would make a motion to deny HPCA 1500129, items 1 and 2 to replace the roofs. Well, no, it'd be items
1.
1. Is that right?
Yes, I was going to say they do have a continuance left, right? Yep, they have a continuance left if we want
Okay.
to ask the applicant to research any other options if the applicant's interested in that, rather than a denial. So either the application could be denied, or we could continue one more time and see if there's anything else that we can come up with as a solution. But right now, the commission does not appear to be inclined to approve the application.
I don't know actually what to say. I'm not professional. Professionally, he is the one who did it, and I have a contract with him that this has been done professionally. And there are many properties next to us in the same location, being done the same way, exactly. Screws over the parapet and everything in there in the same. I have pictures for it, but he did it his way, as a professional guideline. So I don't know. We know, and he knows, but sorry for that. I'm not professional enough to say, but as I see it from the neighborhood, I think we are in a better shape than others, but still up to you and him. I don't know professionally what should I do. When we want to replace, we looked for a licensed, reputable roofer, and we had a good contract with him. That what we got in hand, but Other than this, I don't know.
Well,
Continue it.
yeah, right now, we don't appear to have a motion to approve it, so I think it can either be denied, and you start back over with code enforcement, and you still have the notice, or it can be continued, and you'll get a little more time to work with staff.
Tell you the truth, I don't know what is the difference between both. Whatever you feel right.
Is there, when you, sir, is there a permit required? Do you all apply for, is there a permit required for roof replacements? There's not a permit?
No, you have to take certain steps to become a certified applicator here in the state of
No, I mean, with the city. Does the city of Oklahoma City require your
Building
company?
permits, not as of yet, but that's all fixing to change.
Okay. Because in this instance, if you would have applied for a permit, then you wouldn't have received one until you came before this commission.
Exactly, right.
So,
And the only other option on that situation is to put a cap metal on there if you're worried about the looks, but then this man's going to take a problem situation later down the line of wind blowing it off and having trouble leaking inside his building. That's the only other option for that, or tear them walls down on that building.
Okay. Motion?
continue or?
Continue to January 6th or to February 3rd?
During that, I mean, if I make a motion to continue, what we're asking you to do is to explore possibilities of how you could correct or come back to us with some ideas on how to finish that roof off without it being on the top and the front of the building.
Okay. Do you mean should I get like a secondary opinion from
Yes,
other
sir.
roofers?
I mean, that might be one way to go.
Okay. We
Have
could do-
other people look at it and see if they have some ideas on.
We could do that. Actually, I have 2 points. The first point that you took us to court so fast, so we have a court session by the 2nd of January. I think the judge might be waiting for the decision of these discussions.
Oh.
That's number one. Number two, I have an urgent trip overseas.
A what?
I have an urgent trip overseas. I'm flying overseas by the 1st of January. I don't know, might be for 3 or 4 weeks, but for urgent issue. So if you please just could give me a little bit time so when I come back I could just handle this situation.
Can we continue to February 3rd?
I hope to be back with this time by the 3rd of February.
If we continue it to the 3rd and you can't make it, if you would make a phone call,
Okay.
would that,
That's very
Angela?
nice.
No,
Sure.
she says, no, that won't work. Would we be out of continuances?
We would be out of continuances, yes.
So we'll have to reapply again?
Yes.
Okay. See what happens.
Okay.
Okay, and Katie, can he take this decision to the judge?
Yes, you'll get something from us saying that you've been continued, and we can make sure that that's communicated to the code enforcement officer as well for your court date.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
I make a motion to continue item
1.
1 to the February 6th meeting.
February 3rd.
Oh, I'm sorry, February 3rd meeting.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Moved by Joe Meacham and second by Ann Zacharitz. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, item is continued. And do we need to do something about the paint?
No, I don't think
Okay.
any actions required on that.
Because it's not required for paint.
Right.
Okay. Next case.
HPCA 15-00144 at 405 Northwest 22nd Street, Vista Park, Ward 2. Consideration and possible action on application Nicholas Kirch and Kyle Olson for certificate of appropriateness to 1, convert rear windows to French doors, elective, 2, replace windows, required, 3, install gate and fence, required, 4, install shed, required, 5, replace non-historic window, glass, and opening, elective.
Yep, there it is. The applicant is present. Staff has recommended a mixture approval, one continuance. Okay. Any questions?
The applicant did request that item 2 be continued to February
Okay.
instead of January. This is an item that they are working on with code enforcement, and so they'd like as much time as they can have.
Okay.
So item number 2, the replace windows, is what you said?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I would move to continue HPCA 15-00144, item 2, replace windows, to the February 3rd meeting.
Second?
Second.
Moved by Jeff Parks, and second by Ann Zakowicz. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Item 2 is continued. And questions?
I make a motion to approve items 1, 3, 4, and 5 of HPCA 15-00144 as stated in the staff report.
Okay.
With the conditions that are listed there?
You have to say that too. Okay. With the findings and conditions.
Is the applicant okay with the conditions that were listed in the staff report?
Yes.
Great. Then I'll second the motion.
Okay, it's moved by Joe Meacham and second by Jeff Parks. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, it's 1, 3, 4, 5 are approved. Conditions. Next case.
HPCA 15-00170 at 201 Northwest 31st Street, Edgemere Park, Ward 2. Consideration and possible action on application of Tyler Chastain for certificate of appropriateness to 1, replace front door and jamb, elective. We probably need to make sure we're asking if anyone wants to speak. I think most of these have been older cases and the applicants are coming forward, but in case there's anyone from the public,
Okay.
we've kind of been
Okay.
moving along.
Is the applicant present? Anybody else like to speak? Any comments?
This one appears to be an original door that they want to replace.
Right. Even though it's a glass door, which is not completely common, but you see them, and it appears to be historic, so.
Right. I would feel more comfortable if they proposed something similar, if it's the condition of the door.
How far out should we continue that one?
Have they contacted you? I'm sorry. Have they contacted you?
I'm sorry, Mary Jo, I stepped out for a moment. You'll have to fill me in.
Oh, has the applicant contacted you about this door? Have you all discussed it? Or did they call back after they received the comments?
I've received nothing from the applicants since the staff reports went out.
Okay. So, continue.
How far out should we continue it?
February, to give them time since we haven't talked to them. Sorry. No, this is on 170 with the door replacement.
D6.
Oh, yeah, our photo
Right.
hasn't caught up with our case. That's the one.
I believe that we're in a position to continue conversations with the applicant over this door, so February would be appropriate.
Okay.
Move to continue HPCA 15-00170, item 1, replace front door, to the February 3rd meeting.
Is there a second?
Second.
Greg, did you second that? Or, okay. I just want to change it up a little bit. Okay, moved by Jeff Parks and seconded by Ann Zakowicz. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, continued. Next case.
HPCA 15-00177 at 2137 Northwest 27th, Shepherd, Ward 2. Consideration and possible action on application of Donnie Pelkey for certificate of appropriateness to 1, install and paint wood siding required, 2, replace and paint wood pedestrian door required, and 3, replace wood veneer of overhead door and paint required. This is the round 2 for this address that we heard and denied earlier with the owner that changed. So the new owner has submitted his own application to address the issues there.
So you are
I am the new owner.
Donald Pelkey?
I am Donnie, yes.
All right.
And I have, from the last meeting, I was under the impression I should move ahead to paint the structure. So that's exactly what I did. I removed some of the facade that was on the outside of the garage itself to make it not so noticeable from the street. That's a 2003 photo, and that was the prior photo when I purchased the house, and that's current.
Which one's current? That one? No.
Nope,
that
one.
Okay.
Or matches the trim of the house, as well as the color that surrounds both peaks of the gables. It's the same color as the body of the garage itself. And I think we've determined that the garage is not the original garage from when it was, because the Sandbar maps show that the garage was wood, and it is concrete block with wood on the outside, I guess. The very front section of this that you're looking at is metal siding that looks like that shiplap siding that has, you can see some of the hail damage from prior years. It's dented in a little bit. That's the east side that I didn't realize was never painted, hasn't been painted in quite some time, and I need to paint that as well. Although I asked my neighbor, I said, why didn't you tell anybody about that side of it? And I guess from what I understand, there was a bunch of vines that had grown. The ivy was on the outside of it, and they had taken it down themselves, and it left that, what you see.
Okay.
I'm more happy to paint. But it's going to be scraped first, of course.
I make a motion to approve HPCA 15-00177, items 1, 2, and 3, as stated in the staff report with the specific findings and conditions.
Second.
Moved by Joe Meacham, seconded by Greg Eddington. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, you're approved.
Thank you.
Next case. D8.
HPCA 15-00178 at 805 Northwest 16th Street, Mesta Park, Ward 6. Consideration and possible action on application of Robin Luann Olander by Tom Linton for certificate of appropriateness to 1, replace walkway required.
Okay. Hello, are you Tom?
Yes, I am.
Okay. All right, any questions on the walkway?
You do have comments at your seat from the neighborhood on this one. That the neighborhood said that they had a split opinion. They complimented the sidewalk on how nice it looked, but also recognized that it didn't meet the guidelines for sidewalk replacement.
We've had several other projects in the last year, one concrete, one stone, and on both occasions we denied after they were built because it doesn't fit with the guidelines don't allow for that.
Okay. It was pretty bad, the walkway before. I don't know if you guys have a foreview there or not. So we went ahead and just tore it out. We didn't know that your purview extended, all the way out to the front, to the public sidewalk there. I think where we erred was lining it in brick. That's where it departs significantly from what was original. And we didn't brush the medium concrete there, nor tint it, similarly to what's in the sidewalk. I think a good solution would possibly be for us to stain to match the public sidewalk. And the bricks are actually from the house itself. And there's actually a neighbor that has a brick-framed walkway as well. And that's kind of what we were patterning our walkway after. We tried to make it, it's appropriate to the neighborhood, I think, in terms of what it looks like.
Katie, do you have any other comments?
And then you also took out a step, too, is that right?
Yes, we did. Yeah, that was completely cracked.
And also the semicircular aspect of it.
Which I think was retro. I don't think that's original. I think there may have been a fountain there originally or something like that, and you may have seen it before. There was a hole in the center of the semicircular thing, and that was filled in with cement.
My recollection is originally, many years ago, there was a tree, and in the 2004 county assessor's photo, there's grass in the middle of that semicircular.
Yeah. We thought it was a fountain or something like that.
Okay. Staff is recommending continue.
Have we let people stain sidewalks?
We typically don't approve stain, and we typically don't approve brick unless there's evidence that brick was there historically. We do have numerous sidewalks with brick, driveways lined with brick. We see it throughout the neighborhoods, but for the most part, our understanding is that those are from not historic, but maybe before it was a district or done without a CA.
It would acquire that kind of patina, too, I think, just naturally over time, wouldn't it, the concrete? In lieu of tinting.
Right. It doesn't, it's my observation that it usually doesn't. I mean, unfortunately, when you have something that's already there that is historic, it's really hard for us not to, I mean, if you would have come before us, we would have told you to, or asked, I think, you to redo the sidewalk as it was.
Redo the sidewalk or the...
I mean, we would have, the same pattern,
yes.
If you would have kept...
And material. And material as well.
And material, yes. That we would, if you would have said,
With
can
the
I line it with brick, I think that the guidelines would not allow us to approve that.
Okay. So, what would be the point of continuing?
Yeah, the guidelines are pretty clear. There's no question. And, I'm speaking retroactively.
Right.
We're not in accord, unfortunately. But I don't know. Aesthetically, I think it's very much in keeping with the character of the neighborhood, like I say. The neighbor next door has a grandfathered in.
Right.
Similar pattern. So the only real sort of flagrant discrepancy, I think, other than the brick, is just the patina of the concrete.
So what would be the point of continuing?
Well, we could administratively approve replacement in kind to go back to the historic appearance. So if we continued it now, then we could work with the applicant towards that, and or if they want to continue to make a case for this design, if they want to try to find some other information to further convince the commission.
Doesn't sound like we're convinced yet, but yeah, so that'll allow them to work with you. get administrative approval and to come back
Yeah, if we
possibly.
deny it, it just closes it.
Yep.
And then they have to reapply.
Okay. Any other comments or motion?
I make a motion to continue HPCA 1500178 to the February 3rd meeting.
Okay. Second?
Second.
Moved by Joe Meacham, second by Ann Zackritz. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the item is continued. Thank you.
Thank you.
HPCA 15-00179 at 808 Northwest 19th Street, Mesta Park, Ward 6. Consideration and possible action on application of Terry and Robin Storch for certificate of appropriateness to One Construct Garage, elective.
Okay.
Hi.
There's the applicant. Hello?
How are you? Sorry.
You, Robin?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Welcome.
Staff had recommended a continuance on this one. That has to do with the size of the garage. Is that the basis for the continuance?
Yes.
And the neighborhood also has comments. They cannot reach a consensus. Just says there is some concern that allowing non-compliant items based on existing structures will create additional non-compliance.
So just on the size?
On the size.
Okay.
You want to talk about the size? Would you?
The size is based on the fact that my car is kind of big.
On the what?
Based on the fact that my car is kind of big. I need a place to park it. The house that's to the west of us does have, I don't know when that garage was built, but it is like 24 by 25. It's 1 foot larger than ours, and I get what you're saying on non-compliance on other issues, but it never hurts to ask.
You're right there.
The applicant also proposed a steel garage door that didn't make it into the conditions, which we typically do not approve in Mesta Park. There are a couple of locations when they're minimally visible where steel garage doors are allowed.
And this will back up to the alley, so
Yeah, so they were hoping the commission might consider that.
yes, please.
Do the guidelines say something about Mesta Park, specifically about steel doors?
There's a section that lists out that garage doors in all districts can be solid wood, wood veneer, composite materials such as fiberglass or wood fiber, and then, I didn't include that guideline for it because it's for other districts. In Heritage Hills East and in Shepherd, metal garage doors are allowed when they're minimally visible from the street. So they are allowed in some places, but not Mesta Park.
But we could do wood veneer on top of,
Yes, you can do a wood veneer on a concealed metal frame.
We're back to the size. Any comments? What are you?
I guess my comment is I would not vote for anything above the 450 in this situation, just to go on record for that.
okay?
Nor would I. The guidelines, 4.4.6 is quite clear that the total footprint of 450 square feet or 5% of the lot, whichever is greater is the max size.
Okay.
Would they have to bring back another design?
If it's just the same thing, just we make sure that it's under the square footage, do I have to come back, or can I just?
We have, at least on one other occasion, approved a garage with the condition that they submit a revised drawings to staff, where the look of the garage was going to stay the same, and it was just going to get smaller. That's kind of up to the commission's level of comfort with
I mean, I would
how
want
much
to,
that's going to affect the appearance.
I would want to see a floor plan on file
Okay.
that states,
Okay, I mean, we would include accurate elevations, drawings, everything for the CA, and we will verify that it matches what they used to pull a permit, a building permit. So it's up to the commission if you want that going
You
back.
feel it needs to come back to the commission?
no.
Okay.
No,
Yeah.
it just needs to be go to
Right.
staff.
Okay.
So do you have any other comments on the size or the steel door?
Nope, so just to confirm, I just need to resubmit to you the new floor plan and the right door, and we're good to go.
Floor plan and I think elevations.
Elevations,
showing-
okay.
If there's an elevation with nothing but wall, we probably don't need that.
Okay, I do not have any more questions.
I make a motion to approve HPCA 1500179, item 1 with the following conditions. Condition 1 would be that the size of the garage is limited to 450 square feet and revised drawings will be submitted to staff. And 2, that new garage door information will be submitted to staff for approval that fits the guidelines, not to be metal. And, let's see. Is that all I need? That's it.
Okay? Second?
Second.
Okay, it's been moved by Joe Meacham and seconded by Greg Eddington. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, approved.
Thanks.
With conditions.
HPCA 15-00184 at 236 Northwest 32nd Street, Edgemere Park, Ward 2. Consideration and possible action on application of Jedediah and Christine Perdue for certificate of appropriateness to, 1, convert attic vent to window, elective. We still have 2 options in here, right? For the applicants coming up, we'll let them tell you what they're proposing. I think we've been working on several different options for windows.
Welcome.
Thank you. I'm Jed Perdue, the homeowner. And
Could you sign in also?
Oh, absolutely. And really, we'd love to, we're seeking the committee's guidance on choice of, and our options of potentially replacing a metal vent that's on the northeast corner of our home. It's kind of hard to see through that picture just because of foliage. It is apparent, though, during the winter when the leaves have dropped. I'm not sure if it's part of the original structure. It may be. There's a matching one that you can see in one of these pictures right there that's on the south end of the home. But we're looking to expand into that part of our attic space, and really we have 3 different options. One, we can leave the vent in place and then just basically kind of wall over it. Obviously we'd like that space to have, to be able to provide some light. Now, on that east side of our home, there are 3 types of existing windows. There's casement, there are single hung, and then there's glass block. The glass block is present just below and to the south of where the vent is, where the metal vent is. And interestingly, and I'm not sure if it's part of the original structure of the home or not, but our next door neighbors have the kind of a matching glass block that's just on kind of opposite of where ours is as well. So, that would be kind of our preferred. Now, when I submitted the proposal, I think I mentioned everything being flush mount, and that was mainly in keeping because I wasn't sure if I could do anything with depth, given that the vent is flush with the stucco. But, on the advisement of the committee, I'm certainly, our preference would actually be to frame it as these other windows are framed, which is a traditional, I think it has a 2-inch by, or I have it written down, 2-inch by 1.5 inch by 1 inch, dropping further back as you move inward. So, so we're looking to replace it with one of the existing window types that's already there, whether it's glass block, which is our preference, single hung, or casement.
Okay. Any comments?
I looked at it, and to me, since it's 39 and a half inches tall, and the one to the far left that's a 1/1 is 44 inches tall, and it's on the second floor, that one seemed to be the closest match. Would be the 1/1. If you look at all the windows he has to choose from.
Oh, instead
to
of,
match.
you're saying doing a different type of window?
Yes, I mean, he's given several options. I'm just, it talked about a 1/1
Oh, it did.
or the glass brick or a casement window, but I'm just saying, to me, the one that's size-wise and it's on the second floor, I think it's too short for the 6/1, but since there's already a 1/1 on the back of the house, or I'm not really sure where that, but yeah, the back, but the same elevation, I mean, same facing, is 44 inches. To me,
Yeah.
I would just suggest that it would be a 1/1 framed out to match the other windows.
And since it's in the stucco instead of the brick, it seems like it's a different situation, architecture, don't you think? You think it ought to be framed the same way?
Yeah, I like a window, I think.
There's,
I see, because the bottom ones have I would frame, is there not another window in the stucco?
there is on the south side.
There's one right there.
There we go.
Yeah, like
There you go.
that.
There you go.
To match. And it faces the same direction as this is going to face, correct?
So this is south facing, and then the other one is
On the
northeast. So it's east facing, but on the front aspect of the home.
Is the vent the same size as that one shown there, or do you know?
40.
Is the vent on the east the same size as the one shown there, or do you know?
No, this one is wider.
Okay.
I don't have the dimensions on that one, but this one.
Okay. Yeah, that's 39 by 42
Yes.
in that one.
Correct. Absolutely.
It's not that's a different type of gable, too, so, okay. So there's a 1/1 on that is on the west side. Is it? Oh, this guy must have a storm on it.
Actually, on one of the drawings that I have in this packet, there's I've delineated the windows that are, I think, at least on the east side. I don't have the south side,
Right.
but the closest one that I have, also on the east side, is a 6/1. That's a 42 by 35. That's just would be on the first level in one kind of step back from. This is on page 11 of the packet.
Yeah.
I would be open to that, either one.
Which one? Which one?
I mean,
That's
the small one, I mean,
This one.
it's
Upper
kind of
left?
either or. He's saying the
Oh.
one on the bottom, which is maybe a bathroom window,
Yeah, it's a
is 42 and a half inches tall. The other one, the 1/1, is 44 inches tall, and the new one is 39, so. And there's both of those on the top, second floor, so I
a little
would,
wider
either
than-
one.
It's a little wider than either one
It's
of them.
wider,
42.
87 divided by, it's not really wider than the 44, because it's
70.
87 divided by 2.
And with framing, the size of the window will be a little bit less than what is than the
Right.
39 by 42. In fact, with the framing included, it drops that size of the window down to 33 to 30.
I'm going
What do you-
to offer us another, it's wider than it is tall. To me, that would be suitable to, like, two casement windows, side by side,
I'd be open to that, too.
because it'd be, you know what I mean? Because it wouldn't be the same proportion as the other.
Wasn't
Double-
that one
double
of your
hung.
proposals also?
It is. It's the last on the list, but it is certainly.
We hit
It's
'em
rather
all.
challenging to find the. We've found one manufacturer that could do it, in that just because of the. I think with the size and certain, I guess, specifications by the guidelines in terms of, I think, the true divided light, and but we did find one that we think that could do that. I think that's That's in the packet. I'm not sure which page.
Is there some kind of significant cost difference that makes you want to do one or the other? That's okay.
Absolutely. In fact, based on the cost, in terms of budgeting on the total project, the cost of this casement window was, I think, like $2,900, as opposed to the single hung, which was, I think, less than $5. So
It's one single hung?
yes.
It's 500 and the casement's 2,900?
Correct.
I mean, I really, personally, I don't really see that it would make that big of a difference. I mean, I would go with the 1/1 if that's,
The 1/1 or the 6/1?
or the 6/1. What's the,
1/1 would certainly be
or the
acceptable.
6/1? Did you have a cost on that? Was that?
No, I think the one that I had included here was actually a 3/1, just because that was what was available through the manufacturer. I think it was Pella that we looked at that offered the aluminum clad kind of that met. It seemed to meet kind of the guideline specifications, and I don't recall if they had that option for 6/1. I do know that they had the 3/1 or 1/1.
Since it's so short, I would think 3/1 would look better because you get a lot of small panes with the 6/1 on that. It'd only be 18 inches or almost 20 inches tall. Less than that, that'd be. So to me, I think 3/1 would. What do you guys think? Or even 4/1 since it's so wide. Down below, it looks like there's. What is that?
So I'm just going to note while you're
It's a casement.
considering that, as far as I'm aware, Pella doesn't make a true divided light product, and you cannot get a true divided light window in an aluminum clad product. So we might want to double check product specifications with you if we approve a window with muntins.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I still propose the 1/1. I mean, it's a second story. It's not very visible. There's already a 1/1, even though it would be shorter.
On the back, though, on the backs.
Right, but it is on the second story.
Are we just trying to let him know what would be acceptable going
I
forward?
think he's willing to,
Do better.
I think staff can, if we decide on the configuration, can't staff approve the
Design.
specification?
I think just about everything is included here for each of the window options, other than we would need to look back and check if we've got stuff that's for a simulated divided light window. It may be an easier route to go with the 1/1, and then there's not the concern about the panes being a different proportion than what's in the rest of the house.
You mean
That's my
talk about the muntins being different?
Right.
Yeah.
But this,
There's an illustration, I guess. I don't know if it's to scale or not, but that's what I was thinking about.
right.
The applicant has indicated that they're willing to work with staff towards providing accurate drawings related to the framing and the stops and that sort of thing related to the window. This is a primary portion of the house rather than an addition, so we are looking at wood rather than aluminum clad, I would believe. 1/1 at this location where it is minimally visible may be something that the commission is willing to consider, and staff is happy to work with the applicant towards getting his drawings turned in within the next 2 weeks.
So single panes required? Single panes required.
It's a
It can be thermal pane,
1/1.
but it has to be true divided light.
True divided light, right.
So an insulated window would not be a visible change. We wouldn't have a problem with that. It's allowed by the guidelines.
There are companies that custom make single pane wood windows that might be more cost effective than going to custom from Pella. Staff could give you some ideas on that.
I think Katie just said Pella didn't have a window that's approved.
That's what I'm saying. So the alternatives that staff, I don't feel like mentioning names here, but maybe staff could have some ideas.
Well,
Be cost
Pella
effective.
makes an approvable product as long as there are no muntins.
Oh, okay.
Once it's a divided light window, then none of their products meet the guidelines.
I prefer divided light personally than the 1/1, but that's just me. I'll go along with the majority. It's not a huge deal. Is there a motion?
I'm going to make a motion to approve HPCA 1500184 with the condition that the window follows the guidelines and is a 1/1, with the condition that the window and all of the specifications required by the guidelines are submitted to staff prior to installation, ordering, or whatever.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, it's moved by Joe Meacham and seconded by Ann Zakritz. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, you're approved.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Next. case.
HPCA 15-00187 at 126 Northwest 21st Street, Heritage Hills East, Ward 6. Consideration and possible action on application of Yaniv Zimber and Jeanette Cruz Zimber by Sam Gresham Architect for certificate of appropriateness to 1, construct addition elective, 5, construct new garage elective, and 7, install light fixtures at entrance elective. Staff had made a recommendation with several conditions asking for additional information that they provided once receiving the staff report. They've submitted the specifications on the back doors for the addition, verified that the slope of the roof was a 512 pitch, and also confirmed that soffits would be true beadboard. Those were our only concerns.
Hey, Sam.
Hi. The first business, he wants to withdraw the garage as a part of this application for this and continue that item until the next hearing. Garage. No, continue that item.
Which item?
For the garage, building a new garage.
Construct new garage.
Construct new garage, item 5.
Is
Item
it not on
5.
here?
Okay.
Oh, it is. Okay.
Continue to January or February.
January's fine, wouldn't you agree? Yep.
Okay. So any comments on 1 and 7? Addition and light fixture.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess we can start out with that. So I'd like to move that we continue item 5.
I make a motion to continue HPCA 1500187, item 5, to the January 6th meeting.
Okay.
Second.
So moved by Joe Meacham and seconded by Greg Eddington. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay. Item 5 is continued.
The balance of the application is the house, of course, the addition and repairs. It's differentiated from the original construction. We're using the same siding as existing, which is a bevel lap siding, wood, redwood. The roof has been replaced. The cut sheets for the dimensional shingles are in this packet. The windows are 1/1. Of course, no need to say true divided light, but 1/1 sash windows for the addition. Pitch matches the roof overhangs, the dimensions of the addition, I think, are close to what we need. I don't think there's anything unusual about this application from my perspective anyway.
I make a motion to approve HPCA 1500187, items 1 and 7, with the findings and conditions as stated in the staff report.
Second. Okay, it's been moved by Joe Meacham and seconded by Jeff Parks. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you.
Quick. You're welcome. Thank you. Item D12. It's going pretty quick.
HPCA 15-00188 at 825 Northwest 15th Street, Heritage Hills, Ward 6. Consideration and possible action on application of TLW SDW LLC by J.P. Craig for certificate of appropriateness to 1, remove light fixtures required, 2, alter railing required, 3, remove muntins required, and 4, modify front door required.
Good
Back
afternoon.
again.
How are y'all doing?
Good. How are you?
Good.
or Mr. Craig?
I am, J.P. Craig.
Any questions?
And if you'd like, I can run through each of the 4 items real quick, or I can answer questions, however you...
Let's see if they've got questions.
Okay.
Pretty straightforward.
There's also comments from the neighbor.
Oh,
Yes, we did receive kind of last-minute comments from the neighborhood.
Is anybody here from the neighborhood? No?
I'll just read them because I know you haven't seen them. We just got them. Item 1, they said no objection to the removal and timely replacement of approved fixtures. I think that's a typo. Item 2, object to the removal of the railings. Item 3 said this house now has an odd appearance from the street. We understand that the applicant is not required to purchase and install the new windows, which were approved earlier. The upstairs and the downstairs look odd together. Not advocating for replacement of the fake muntins, but the look takes away from a very prominent house. Item 4, the front door has a modern appearance. It should be more period appropriate, and that's from the Heritage Hills Preservation Review Committee.
So refresh my memory what we did previously.
So originally, it's been a little bit of time, we were going to replace all the windows on the second floor to a true divided light steel casement window that came out of the eastern United States. They elected not to do that just for by the time they did everything I think they wanted to do, that the cost of that was something they wanted to put more into the house versus the windows themselves. And so they elected not to put in the true steel casement windows. And then we added a roof access to the patio on the second floor, just there on the east side of the house. There was a door that was added where an existing window was. And then on the back of the house, we took out a door that came off of the kitchen and added 3 larger windows above a new kitchen sink location and extended a historic awning down to cover the entire back porch on the house. And then in the interim, they wanted to update the driveway and the sidewalks, and we turned that information in for approval and also add a fence in the backyard, but that was not, that was something that we did administratively.
So the upper windows were existing?
Yes, they were an existing window that, they looked, and I actually called Pella and talked to them because it was their window, and it said it was kind of a typical 1970s to 1980s replacement type window. Because I think at that time they didn't actually have a true custom window. So if you look at the windows now, a lot of them have that infill piece around the frame of the window. And so the owner, the muttons that were in there previously were, they deteriorated, they blocked their line of sight, and they were really hard to clean, and a lot of them were broken, and so they just wanted to remove them.
So were they just on the inside?
Yeah, right. It had that storm pane of glass, but on the inside, and a bunch of those were cracked, and they just didn't want those in the house.
What about the railing?
So the railing, there's 2 main entries to the house. Originally, obviously, the kind of the symmetrical entry to the front porch, and then on the driveway, they had to walk previously kind of around into a porch, and I think that porch was, I don't know when it was added, but I don't know that it was on the original kind of Sanborn maps for the house, if you see the porch to the west. And so they wanted to be able to come off of that driveway and go directly to the front porch as guests come over to the home. And so that was the reason that you can see the railing there, I think, in the photographs. And then also a lot of the railing around the house had deteriorated over time, and so we were able to use some of those parts and pieces of that railing, or we would like to, even though we have done that, but to replace kind of the other parts that had been deteriorated. And I tried to show some photographs originally in the packet at the back. But I think the biggest thing for the owners, they wanted access there from the drive versus kind of walking all the way down to the porch and then back up to the front of the house. And I think it's on page 5 of 8. But some of the top rails and the vertical posts had kind of rotted out.
Interesting. So the light fixtures have been removed, but you're not proposing replacement yet?
I thought I had a selection. I haven't got a selection on those light fixtures yet, and so I'm waiting on that information.
Okay.
But because I don't have the light fixture, I mean, it's just hearsay, I understand that, but they had the, most modern light fixtures today have that 3-bulb makeup in the exterior, for the bulbs themselves. And the house was built in 1933, so it is my opinion, but it's that those are not historic based upon that makeup. And I tried to show that in the photograph or zoom into the photograph in the packet. And then we will definitely be willing to bring what is proposed for those lights back to you all and to staff to look at them before those are installed.
You still have those fixtures?
I don't. But I can probably go to Lowe's and get them. Because they're, again, it's just hearsay. It was a light gauge, just a simple metal material that I think that you could get locally if you go on. But again, that's just hearsay. I don't have.
So the railing's been removed. Do you still have it?
Excuse me?
The railing has been removed?
No, the railing, I have a couple of parts and pieces, but I've used the majority of those parts to fix other pieces of the railing.
One's been done. Front door, was that the existing front door that was glass was inserted?
That was the existing front door. So if you look at, I think it was page 8 of 8, you can see kind of a before and after, and it's a red oak door. The rest of the exterior doors in the home look to be like a maple or mahogany based upon just the actual wood makeup through the stain. And because of red oak, I'm not saying it's different, because sometimes they would have different materials on front doors, but we do have a lot of other exterior doors that were made of maple, so I think in looking at that, we believe it wasn't the original front door. And if you look to the porch on the east side, you can see that that has glass within those doors. And I think I included that in the, if you go back to the French doors. There, yeah. Which is on the same, that'd be the south facade.
I think one of the problems is replacing the wood panels. It leaves a real wide style between the glass, which I think is a problem. It was
right. It's kind of atypical of atypical of the style. Yeah.
It was a 15 light window, as on the east French door, something like that. That would be more appropriate.
And I'm just, just talking. Would there be an option, maybe two ways to look at this? The owner could elect to put the wood panels back in, or we could propose a door that's very similar to the door on the garden room.
So put it back like it was, basically.
Put it back like it was. Basically, I would take the glass out and then put wood in, or could we propose a door that looks very similar to the sunroom?
Like a 15
it's got the thinner frames.
Right.
Earlier today, we saw a similar door on an historic house that looked very much like that.
15 light.
But this is actually what was there.
Yes. I think he's challenging the historic nature of the solid wood door.
And really, the two things.
Well, it wasn't a historic door. Yeah. The existing front door was not historic. Right. That's what you're saying. I'm in agreement.
Well, the solid wood door. I'm making an assumption on what I've seen, and also I'm not saying they weren't great craftsmanship, but if you look at the actual door and the knob itself is almost hanging over the paneling. And typically, I don't think you'd see that if it was an original door. They probably would have centered that on the style of the.
I'm in agreement. It's not original. I mean, I don't believe it's original.
So, the 15 light.
I mean, I would prefer that. I don't.
Yeah.
I don't know. Huh? Doesn't bother me because it was already there. They just put the glass in it. I don't. But either way.
The intent is to get natural light into that entrance.
Right.
Once you go into the house, it's very dark, and so.
I mean, did you contemplate a new door?
I just said, I mean, I'd have to ask her if that would be okay, but I was trying to see if something works so she can have glass in there.
Right.
I will just add, as you all have noted and as the applicant noted, there are many kind of full light, more traditional looking doors on the house. And when we look at like McAllister's Guide to American Houses, houses that are this architectural style across the country, almost every one where I could see the front door, it was like a 15 light or full light door. So I don't think that that's at all inappropriate for this style of house if we're comfortable saying that the existing door is not historic,
Sure. Correct.
which I think we are.
Yep. That'd be more appropriate.
I'm saying I think we have several reasons to believe that would be appropriate to the style of the house, I guess.
I agree with that. I guess my point is, I wouldn't be agreeable to that, except that it is the door that was in the house already, and they just took it out.
The existing door, and you took out the panels.
Good.
Okay, is there any more discussion or any of these items?
I make a motion to approve HPCA 15-00188. Let's see, items 1, 2, and 3, as stated in the staff report with the findings and conditions.
But staff recommended continuing.
What? I'm sorry?
They recommend continuing.
On item 1 and 2.
1 and 2.
Oh, continuing?
They
Okay.
recommended approval on
Well, I make a
item
motion
3.
to approve items 1, 2, and 3. With no conditions.
Okay. What do you guys think of that?
I'm open to alternative.
Is there a second?
Alternate.
Light fixtures are gone. The railing has been
And again, we would bring the light
Light fixtures.
salvaged.
to you all
Right.
to look at them.
The light fixtures, let's see. To approve the light fixtures would be, in order to install, you'd have to bring those forward for approval.
Sorry, I'm thinking, if you're thinking that in the near future you'll have a new light fixture, we could continue item 1, and you would come back and get approval for the new fixtures instead of having to start all over with a new application.
Can't staff approve light fixtures?
Yes, but if we close this item out, then
I see.
their application is closed.
I see.
And they'd have to submit again and pay again and all of that.
Even though it just says remove, they could still get approval for replace.
I guess so we'll but wouldn't they have to bring them in with the cert?
Doing your
within the
job for
next-
you.
Are you going to bring the light fixture
Yes, I
within
can
the
bring-
next?
Yes, I can
We
bring
could
those
we
within
could
the next
continue it
2.
to February.
Well, I could bring them in within the next couple of weeks and let staff review them. That would be fine.
I'll just back up and say I'll move to continue item 1 to the, February 6th meeting?
Okay.
That,
Yeah, or like I said, if you're okay with it, I could bring probably within the next week.
Okay.
Something, the
The
light fixture that
January-
would be proposed.
January 6th.
January
And
6th.
it may be something we can do administratively.
Right. Because I think it's just too light, I think it's just too light, those two on the.
Okay, my revised motion is just the continuance of item 1.
Okay. To January, February, January.
January.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
Moved by Joe Meacham, second by Greg Eddington. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Item 1 is continued. And
I make a motion to approve items 2 and 4.
as proposed, no,
They were not, it wasn't as stated. Staff recommended a continuance, I'm just recommending an approval.
With no conditions, or
I don't know what the condition, I mean, they've removed the muttons.
you're talking about 2 and 4, right?
I mean, I'm sorry, 2 and 3.
2 and 3, okay.
2 and 3, not the door.
Okay.
2 and 3. The
Okay.
railings and the muttons.
Okay.
So,
I don't, what would,
go ahead if you want.
I'd like to take those separately.
okay.
Okay.
I'll let you make a motion.
Well, I was going to ask you a question, if that's
I'm sorry.
okay. What's your basis for approving removal of the railing?
I mean, they haven't removed all of them. I think it makes sense what they did. He's saying that they're using the other ones to repair, the existing. They're still there. And if the future people wanted to do them, put that back, they have examples. So there's no way that we're really losing what they look like if somebody wanted to add that back in the future. They would have had to make more if they repaired these other ones, it sounds like. So, just as a new use, and I understand getting to the front door, I don't know. I looked at the drawing, and it makes sense to me, in that we still have historic railings, and so they can be manufactured in the future to match.
And again, we're talking about the railing that was at along the driveway?
It's the, right,
Did it go
where's
all the
the
way-
floor?
There's a little site plan I included.
Yeah,
Yeah, I saw that, but did it go all the way across or just partially?
It's between the column and that pilaster.
Went all the way across that open?
All the way across that.
Blocked it off?
Well, there would not be.
And then, was it open under the arch previously?
I believe it was.
Okay, so that's been filled in.
Right.
Okay, so that was the access before, and the railing turned the corner, and you would enter at the arch. Now that's filled in, so you have no access unless you take it out. So it's
Well, the arch is filled with railing now.
So, right, the archway used to be open,
yeah.
which makes
The middle,
it
I
has to be
think,
open,
maybe
right.
Right.
That archway right there, and now it's filled in with railing. And the spot toward the front of the house that's not underneath
It's not all.
the porch, that is now removed, but there used to be railing all the way across that.
So functionally, it makes sense. It's a question of
Well, in the driveway, there used to not be that step and walk to that part of the porch from the driveway.
Was the step all the way across before?
I don't know that it came all the way down, but there was that curb. The curb basically started at the back of the porch and came down to a point, maybe halfway in this.
Is that paving new, that concrete new?
Yes.
Okay.
The site plan on page 2 shows it a little bit different configuration, page 2 of 8. It shows the driveway kind of curving away from the porch at that point.
It's kind of weird because if the doorway, if the opening was where the arch was, it's not actually going into a door at that point. I mean, you would think that, you would want to stop the car and get out and go into a door, but there's just windows there on the porch.
Yeah. Page 2 does show the original configuration.
I mean, right now, would the alternative be to remove the railing from the arch, and then you would have to manufacture a new piece to go the length of the...
Correct. I don't know that it's twice, but
Right.
if you look at that,
Right.
it's probably close to twice the length of it.
I mean, I'm for approving.
Greg?
Where are we on the motion? I'm okay with it, but did you move to?
No, we went back. We're taking them.
Take them separately.
We removed the motion from the floor, and we're
Okay.
taking items 2 and 3 separately.
There's a motion on 2.
So I made a motion, I think. I made a motion to approve the item 2.
Item 2.
Did I?
There's a second?
Yeah, I'll second that.
Okay, it's been moved by Joe Meacham, second by Greg Eddington. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
So it was... So I voted aye.
So it's
3 to 2. Okay. there a motion on 3?
I'll make a motion, but and just briefly, my thoughts are the windows were existing. I mean, they didn't do the windows, and they weren't original windows. And if they would have had to replace the buttons, if they were broken, they would still be like it would be on the inside of the house. I don't think it makes that much difference. I would make a motion to approve item 3.
The buttons were on the inside?
Yes.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, so moved by Joe Meacham, and seconded by Jeff Parks. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
I think that's 3. Do I have to vote on this one too? No. So, no. To get a quorum?
Well, the quorum is to conduct the business.
Okay, but not for a vote. Okay. So it's 3 to 1. Okay. Last but not least, the front door.
I would make a motion to continue item 4 with the idea that the applicant would consider a 15-light door, a new door that was similar to the existing doors. So would it,
Well, could he just agree with that as a condition and approve it? Or
I don't think he can without
I
the
have a
owners.
question. Well, could I approve either to go back to what was there, right?
Right.
Which would be the red, or
The wood.
the
With
wood
solid
door.
panel.
Or if we do want to replace it, we would come back, and I can probably find that out within about a week, and then I can bring that back to staff and let Katie and them look at it.
So is that a continue? That's a continue then.
I think it's still a continuance, Katie. Is that correct? Or could you approve the door?
Could you approve it with the conditions that, A, they're going to go back with wood, or B, they would let staff review it?
With the conditions, as conditions?
Okay, so we are reviewing the changes that were already made to the door as if they had never happened. So I think,
Right.
I mean, essentially returning it to exactly what it was before could, Angela, do you have thoughts? I'm trying to think how to structure this. I mean, we could just approve returning it to the original appearance, and then if they want to go with the existing appearance, and if they want to go back with the 15-light door, do that as an amendment to.
Because really, it's the existing appearance because we're reviewing it as it was not.
Understand. Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Okay.
Can somebody say
Okay,
that?
so I make a motion, so I'm approving? Well, I'm already coming.
I think it would be approval with condition that the door be returned to its previously existing appearance.
And
then we won't even address the 15-light door. If they want to come back with that, we'll do it as an amendment to the application.
So you won't have to come to commission for the 15-light, you'll just go to staff?
Yeah.
Okay. How much time do I have to put the wood to keep it as wood?
Your CA is good for a year.
Okay.
So.
Not
It'll
before
be way
Christmas.
sooner than that, but
I think I understand it. Is there a second?
So,
No.
I don't know what, I still am unsure.
So pretend the
Because we're
15-light
denying.
door is not even happening.
Okay.
We are approving.
No, we're not.
Actually, you're not,
We're
because the
denying.
modification.
We're denying the
Is
modification.
to change it.
I think I
And
move to
so-
deny the modification.
Because to return
Because we have to do it as it was
as it
not,
it didn't happen.
as it didn't happen.
So
You want to
the
say something?
denial.
You've been wanting to say something.
Well, I'm just trying to think through that. So the proposal is to take the existing door that's there
And
and
put-
modify it. The commission's not okay with that. We are okay with replacing the door
Now,
with something that's, or changing the door back to the way it was before,
Or replacing with.
or replacing it with a 15-light door.
Right.
That can't, be- what he's
But-
asked to do is to modify the door.
So we
that
can't
prior to
amend his
alteration-
application
Well,
At
he is modifying the door because the panels have been removed and they're going to go back. So it is physically, it has been and will be physically changed. So I think what we typically do, even when someone is returning, even when we review something retroactively and the work's already been completed and they agree to completely return it to the original appearance, we still do a CA for that so that there's documentation on file of what they're supposed to do and so that an inspector will go out to verify that it was done. So I think it can be approve modification to front door with condition that wood panels be reinserted to return it to the previous appearance.
I don't know that we can say modify, though, because this is the existing door. And so if you treat it as though nothing ever happened, this is where he is. So the application would need to be amended to say something else.
Well, you know what? Returning it to the existing appearance is an administratively approvable item, I would say.
There we are.
So we can continue that one as well, and then staff will approve it.
Okay, that's easy.
So we're just going to continue, okay, I move to continue item 4.
Until?
Let's do February.
February
3rd,
6th. Oh, February
to give them time.
So February 3rd. Yeah. Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Been moved by Joe Meacham, second by Jeff Parks. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, item is continued.
Thank you for your
We
consideration.
don't have a quorum.
And that's it? For him? Okay.
For him, I was
So
gonna say.
next item.
HPCA
case.
15-00189 at 215 Northwest 32nd Street, Edgemere Park, Ward 2. Consideration and possible action on application of Alan Brown for a certificate of appropriateness to 1 construct addition to garage elective.
Okay, Jeff will handle this,
Alan, would you like
But
to?
we don't have a,
because I will have to abstain.
Okay.
Do you still have a quorum if he abstains?
Item number 13, HPCA 15-00189 at 215 Northwest 32nd Street, Edgemere Park, Ward 2, on application of Alan Brown for certificate of appropriateness to construct addition to garage elective, will not be considered today. Alan Brown is chair of the Historic Preservation Commission and has abstained from the consideration of this item, resulting in the loss of a quorum necessary for this body to act.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. So I will take,
Thank you for those professional words.
I will now take back control and on to other business. Item C.
BOA 14158 at 436 Northwest 27th Street, Jefferson Park, Ward 6, to provide a recommendation to the Board of Adjustment regarding a request for a variance to parking requirements, minimum spaces required, and cessation of use, number of units allowed. This is a property within the Jefferson Park Historic District. Any physical work that's done to the exterior of the building or to the site will come back through the commission for a certificate of appropriateness. Right now, this is just a recommendation to Board of Adjustment on variances they're requesting. The variances appear to only affect the configuration of the interior space of the building and are required for their building permit process, as well as the amount of parking that is being required, that's required under their existing zoning.
Okay. Anything else on that? Okay, on to then, oh.
We have to make a recommendation, sorry.
It's just other business. That's just informational, right?
No, we have to take.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was
Would you like to say anything?
I'm
Yes.
so sorry. I was thinking it was just informational. Okay, there he is.
Please? I don't know, do you have any questions for me?
Anything?
are you getting ready to come, to turn in, when you get through this process, then you'll be turning in an application for a certificate of appropriateness?
Yes. We're kind of digging ourselves out of a bad contractor hole, so I'm the new contractor. No, I'm the owner, but also trying to figure out everything he did wrong and do it the right way. So I think tomorrow is the meeting to see if they will allow us to keep it. We're trying to reduce the amount of bedrooms. We can leave it as is or as was approved before. And there's more bedrooms being used, and so we'd prefer to bring it down to a less amount of bedrooms, and it's a proper layout. The layout before was on the back of it, in the back of the building, there's 2 units, one on each side, and they're up and down. And to, like, if you're in your downstairs living room or kitchen and you need to use the restroom, you have to go out your front door, up the hallway, in another front door to get to your, like, so whoever configured it before, it's like a train wreck.
Yeah, that
So
sounds-
we're just trying to make it 8 equal, roughly 600 square foot apartments, which will actually be less bedrooms, probably less tenants than what's currently approved. So
Any more discussion?
Yeah, I have just one quick question for our counselor, I think. This is one of those things where we're supposed to make a recommendation, but we're only supposed to be recommending about some historic features, right?
Correct.
The reason I just want to ask you this is because I'm kind of uncomfortable recommending approval of something that really doesn't have anything to do with the historic nature of it, like how many parking places there are. So I am not comfortable voting to approve when I don't think it has any bearing at all. I mean,
So maybe the word approval is one we should consider replacing, because what you're actually doing is saying that very thing. To the Board of Adjustment, you're saying, number one, and number two, as staff is recommending. So your statement, actually, to the Board of Adjustment is these two things. Not whether or not they should approve it, but these two specific things that have been listed. So instead of saying that you recommend approval, maybe you offer the following specific findings.
As contained
And
in
say
staff.
that as opposed to recommending approval, because it isn't to do with anything that the Board of Adjustment is going, they just want to know what you think about the property, and you're saying what you think.
Rita, I'm thinking that in the Planning Commission staff reports, they'll have little sections from all different city departments that will often just say, kind of like no impact or things like that. They're not saying approve or deny, they're just saying, we're fine with this. From our purview, we're fine with this.
Very similar to that.
So maybe something like.
Something like that, but here you also want to, like for example, this number 2 in the staff recommendation, the proposed variance does not appear to affect the historic character or integrity of the structure, site, or surrounding district. And that's really what you have to say, because you're not being called upon to say whether or not the requested variance should be granted. You're just telling them from your perspective, actually both these things, it's just your opinion about the property, but no bearing on the appropriateness of the variance. So instead of saying this, that you recommend approval, you could very well say you offer the following specific recommendation. You offer the following recommendation. And it's not even though a recommendation, it's actually this. It's you offer the following, period. 1 and 2.
I have a question based on what Greg said also is, was there something in there about changing the parking?
The way that the place is configured now, the amount of parking apparently is approved.
The what?
The amount of parking is already approved. And so the way it is, the way it's designed with the funky back units and all the 4 front units, because it's right now it's a 6 unit, the front 4 units are really 2-bedroom units. But to get around that, it seems like the previous person said this is a dining room, and then went back and there's doors. So, I mean,
I guess what I'm really, when we're saying it does not appear to affect the character integrity of the structure, and then we say site. So,
So what
because wouldn't it, when it comes back to us, wouldn't we approve sidewalks and driveways?
If they make, so right now they're wanting to keep the current amount of parking and not make any changes.
I see.
In order to do that,
They need a
while
variance for
also
less. I see.
increasing the number of units.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just don't want to.
no, so yeah, it'll be the same amount of parking now. There won't be any changes, but there'll actually be less bedrooms. So it's weird because you're increasing the amount of units, but really the bedrooms being lived in are less. So in our opinion, it makes more sense to leave it as an 8-bedroom with the same amount of parking than put it as like a 12-bedroom with the same amount of parking.
Okay, then I move to forward to the Board of Adjustment without recommendation the findings 1 and 2 in Section E of the staff report.
Second.
Is that good? Okay, moved by Greg Eddington, second by Ann Zachrich. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Item is forwarded.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now on to communications reports. Katie?
We have pages upon pages of administrative approvals.
Wow.
Happy, again, to follow up with any questions about those. One administrative closure. The Lincoln Plaza National Register nomination has made its way through City Council. And this was reported previously, but the Marion Hotel has completed its process through Planning Commission and City Council to be designated as a landmark.
Which item are you on?
2, under City Council. Sorry, I'm zipping through. And then also, I think previously reported, but we had several dilapidated structures that went to City Council, and their status is listed there in the agenda. Nothing from Board of Adjustment. And then the Santa Fe Depot National Register nomination that the Commission reviewed previously has been submitted on to the National Park Service for the final step in that process.
All right, and then H.
I don't think we have anything to report under H.
Anything from the Municipal Counselor's Office? No. Next meeting date for the Historic Preservation Commission is January 6, 2016 at 2 p.m. right here. New applications for this meeting were received yesterday, December 1st. New information on projects continued from today's meeting must be submitted to staff by 4 p.m. Tuesday, December 8th. And then the next regular scheduled workshop for the Historic Preservation Commission is Wednesday, December 8th, 2015. Oh, that was for that date has been canceled. Any items from commissioners? And there's 2 citizens. Would you like to? Could you come to the front, please? So we can get it all recorded for the record.
Jeannie Morgan, 214 Northwest 17th Street. Am I approved?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I had no idea. So.
I'm sorry, you were on the consent docket. You were approved right at the very beginning
Oh, I'm
of the
sorry.
meeting.
I thought Katie said that.
That's okay.
Did you come in late, or were you here when we
No,
started?
I was here before 2. I just really thought.
I'm sorry. I was trying to scan around to see if there were people that. But yeah, you were on the consent docket. You're good.
Sorry you had to wait or waited unnecessarily. Maybe it was educational. But probably not. Okay, any other items? If not, we're adjourned. Thank you.